Charlotte County Cop Watch, and we are here to go into the courtroom where Punta Gorda Police Chief Tom Lewis is in court right now for negligent, incompetent, actually it should have been manslaughter, because it was his stupidity that got Mary Knowlton killed, because he kept Lee Cole on and actually trusted him to do the right thing. So we're here to peek into the courtroom for a little bit and see what we can see and hear and etc. And we'll get back to you later. Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I just wanted to let you know it's a snowbird season down here in Florida, and I did have a little bit of time, so I did get to go and sit in the trial for a little bit for the trial for Police Chief, Punta Gorda Police Chief Tom Lewis, where he's being held for negligence in the shooting death of Mary Knowlton by Lee Cole. And I did get to go in there for a couple of hours. They were showing the evidence, which I already knew because I already read the report. My timing was excellent because they went for break, and when they went for break, I got to meet Steve Knoll, Mary Knowlton's son, who has been harassed by bootlicking Punta Gorda residents for wanting police chief to be charged. And charged with a higher crime. He should have been charged with a felony because of his stupidity that caused the death here. And I did get to meet him. I got to shake his hand. I got to give him my card. And then you know, I told him that we do support you. We do, you know, we do think that he's very corrupt. He needs to be charged. He needs to be fired, lose his pension, everything. So I just wanted to let you know that I was there. This is the guy. I got to meet him, got to shake his hand. This is Mary Knowlton's son. This is the Punta Gorda police chief who allowed this stupidity to happen, where Mary Knowlton was executed by a moron, Lee Cole, and they used a real gun in a shoot don't shoot. So I got to meet him, shake his hand, and tell him that we all support him. Fuck the bootlickers of Punta Gorda that say he's mean for wanting to have Tom Lewis charged, fired, and lose his pension for his stupidity, which he should.
All it would have taken is open the revolver up and look at the bullets, and that would have saved a life.
New at 11, the son of a Punta Gorda woman tragically killed during a training exercise at a Citizens Academy last August is speaking only to NBC2 on the eve of the police chief's trial. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Brittany Weiner.
And I'm Trent Kelly. Police Chief Tom Lewis is charged with culpable negligence, a misdemeanor, in the shooting death of 74-year-old Mary Knowlton. The librarian was killed during a training exercise. Officer Lee Cole, whose gun was supposed to have blanks, loaded it with real bullets instead. He's now charged with manslaughter and is awaiting his trial. Tonight, Steve Knowlton, Mary's son, says the past 10 months have been unbearable, and he's now questioning why the charges against the police chief are not tougher.
NBC2 anchor Stacey Deffenbaugh has this exclusive story.
For people to just say it's an accident, they need to wake up and read the report.
Steve Knowlton has a mix of emotions as he prepares to walk into the Charlotte County Courthouse.
It was such a horrific incident, happened so fast, so careless.
He says his life will never be the same, and he knows the family will have to relive the horror of what happened to his mom. All
it would have taken is open the revolver up and look at the bullets, and that would have saved a life.
Steve says he's watched his father age since his mom passed 10.5 months ago.
It's been very hard on our family. It's hard to see what it's done to my dad.
And he sees sadness in his eyes every day. He tries to stay positive and focus on good memories of his mom, like when she hugged him here after a race to honor vets, or the many relaxing vacations to Lake Tahoe or Cocoa Beach. But the 52-year-old son still struggles and still has so many questions.
You know, why the blanks weren't used, why there wasn't a thorough check done, why there was even a gun involved in the incident with civilians around.
Steve wonders why they didn't give his mom a bulletproof vest, why the department didn't have a safety plan in place, and why Tom Lewis is only charged with a misdemeanor.
I looked at the accusations against him. There was about 7 of them that I felt constituted a felony.
The city of Punta Gorda paid the family more than $2 million after Mary's death, and Steve is shocked by some community reaction.
For somebody just out of the blue to comment, you know, you think you got enough, sarcastically, you know, they need to look at themselves in the mirror.
As for Lewis and Cole, the two men charged, he hasn't forgiven them, but has a strong faith and says God will guide him.
You can forgive somebody, but it doesn't mean they don't need justice and punishment.
Steve and his family plan to be at both trials, relying on their faith for justice for someone he calls the best woman ever. In Punta Gorda, Stacey Deffenbaugh, NBC2.
Chief Lewis could spend up to 60 days in jail if he's convicted. Opening statements are set to begin tomorrow morning.
Day 2 of the trial for the Punta Gorda police chief. Chief Tom Lewis is charged with culpable negligence for the death of Mary Knowlton. One of his former officers, Lee Cole, accidentally loaded his gun with bullets instead of blanks.
In day 2 of the chief's trial, the state points to Lewis, saying he's responsible, being the leader of the department. NBC2's Jacqueline Beavis was in court where the defense argued there's a lot of responsibility to go around.
The jury was released just before 5 o'clock today after hearing from witnesses who watched the shooting happen while attending the event, law enforcement who also saw it, and investigators who tried to figure out exactly how it happened. The question at the center of this trial: did Chief Tom Lewis do anything criminally that left Mary Knowlton dead?
Thomas Lewis is charged with culpable negligence.
The state points to this man, Punta Gorda Police Chief Tom Lewis, as one line of defense that could have stopped the death of Mary Knowlton.
Many people were involved, but today we are here because of the role that Tom Lewis took.
But the defense team believes Lee Cole acted alone, ignoring standard safety plans.
There's a policy that's been in effect the whole time. And that policy is don't bring in ammo that's not ours, that we don't approve or issue. Don't point your gun at anybody.
The victim's husband of 54 years took the stand to shed light on his wife's experience with guns.
She never owned one or never had interest in having one.
While witnesses remembered the night it happened.
And I heard what I knew was not a submissions round because it was loud.
From what I recall, it seemed to be multiple shots, then a click, maybe one more shot, then more clicks.
And the statements Tom Lewis made following the death.
He was very ashen and said he believed that live ammunition had been involved.
He was taking responsibility for the action, as he did on television a few days later.
The jury also saw surveillance video for the first time today of what that don't shoot scenario looked like when Mary Knowlton was killed. Those 7 jurors will be back first thing tomorrow morning as this trial continues. Live in Charlotte County, Jacqueline Beavis, NBC2.
Officer Lee Cole is facing manslaughter charges. He told investigators he thought he put blanks inside his gun instead of bullets. His trial date has not been set.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I just wanted to let you know it's a snowbird season down here in Florida, and I did have a little bit of time, so I did get to go and sit in the trial for a little bit for the trial for Police Chief Punta Gorda Police Chief Tom Lewis, where he's being held for negligence in the shooting death of Mary Knowlton by Lee Cole. And I did get to go in there for a couple of hours. They were showing the evidence, which I already knew because I already read the report. My timing was excellent because they went for break, and when they went for break, I got to meet Steve Knoll, Mary Knowlton's son, who has been harassed by bootlicking Punta Gorda residents for wanting police chief to be charged. And charged with a higher crime. He should have been charged with a felony because of his stupidity that caused the death here. And I did get to meet him. I got to shake his hand. I got to give him my card. And then, you know, I told him that we do support you. We do, you know, we do think that he's very corrupt. He needs to be charged. He needs to be fired, lose his pension, everything. So I just wanted to let you know that I was there. This is the guy. I got to meet him, got to shake his hand. This is Mary Knowlton's son. This is the Punta Gorda police chief who allowed this stupidity to happen where Mary Knowlton was executed by a moron, Lee Cole, and they used a real gun in a shoot, don't shoot. So I got to meet him, shake his hand, and tell him that we all support him. Fuck the bootlickers of Punta Gorda that say he's mean for wanting to have Tom Lewis charged, fired, and lose his pension for his stupidity, which he should.
Punta Gorda police chief on the defensive as a family seeks justice. Chief Tom Lewis is standing trial. He's facing culpable negligence charges in a deadly shooting that happened on his watch last August. Mary Knowlton was accidentally shot with live rounds instead of blanks during a Citizens Police Academy. The officer who shot her, Lee Cole, has been fired from the force. He will be standing trial next year on manslaughter charge. Now, 4 in your corner, Sam Sosa is live outside of the Charlotte County Courthouse tonight with more on today's proceedings. Sam.
Amy, court has wrapped up for the day. The state called several witnesses to the stand, including people who were at that Citizens Academy and experts to talk about safety procedure. Punta Gorda Police Chief Tom Lewis appearing before a judge for culpable negligence charges in the shooting death of local librarian Mary Knowlton.
No one was designated as a safety officer whose responsibility it would have been to check all firearms to make sure that the ammunition being used were actually blanks.
The state claiming Chief Lewis didn't do enough to protect everyone at that Citizens Academy last summer because there was no one assigned to check a real gun used by Officer Lee Cole, who actually fired the weapon. Cole wore safety gear that night, while participants did not.
Chief Lewis said that the soap bullets could hurt you.
Next thing we heard was 3 loud bangs.
Witnesses taking the stand recalling the night Knowlton passed away. The state also calling experts to the stand, like this firearms trainer who heard the shots from elsewhere in the building.
There should be checks, yes. There should be double checks. And then the officer should make sure he doesn't point the live firearm at someone.
Instead of blanks, Cole's gun was loaded with wad cutter bullets. And although no one checked the gun, the defense says they look very similar to blanks. The defense also claiming if Cole never would have broken the cardinal rule of gun safety, the shooting never would have happened.
That policy is don't bring in ammo. That's not ours, that we don't approve or issue. Don't point your gun at anybody.
The trial continues tomorrow at 9 a.m. Fox 4 will bring you the latest. I'm live in Punta Gorda. Sam Sosa, Fox 4 in your corner.
All right, thank you, Sam.
Witnesses who saw Mary Knowlton fall to the ground during a shoot-don't-shoot scenario last year took the stand today against Punta Gorda's top cop. Police Chief Tom Lewis is charged with culpable negligence.
One of those witnesses included her husband, who talked about her knowledge of guns.
To your knowledge, had she ever touched a gun before?
I don't know for sure, but she never owned one or never had interest in having one.
Wingo News reporter Christy Gross followed this case from the beginning. She joins us live outside the courthouse now. Christy?
Amanda, during opening arguments, the state says Chief Lewis and his lack of safety policies contributed to Mary's death. But the defense says there were policies in place and that if they had been followed, Mary Knowlton would still be alive today. The first witness in the trial against Tom Lewis, a man mere feet from Mary Knowlton when gunshots pierced the muggy August air.
Was your wife, Mary, shot and killed at the Punta Gorda Police Department that night?
Yes.
Gary Knowlton composed on the stand as he recalled that tragic night. The state called multiple members of the Punta Gorda Chamber of Commerce who were there to testify.
Tell us how the sign you saw when you walked in.
It was pretty interesting. It said this is the safest place in the city.
Unfortunately, that wasn't the case that night.
I just remember saying that I do recall that the chief coming into the room and explained to us that live rounds may have been used
and that he was taking responsibility for the action, as he did on television a few days later.
During opening arguments, the prosecutor told the jury Chief Tom Lewis was in charge that night and should be held accountable for the lack of safety checks and policies that led to Mary's death.
Tom Lewis is involved in almost every stage of the academy. You'll see pictures, you'll see an agenda of the academy. You will see that Tom Lewis is involved in almost all of it.
The defense says what happened to Mary should have never happened, but says there were rules in place that Lee Cole didn't follow.
Because what Lee Cole did, the evidence is going to show you, is he defeated the entire safety check process.
After the incident, Chief Lewis did change those safety protocols at the department. Lee Cole used his personal revolver and live bullets in that demonstration. He's since been charged with manslaughter and will face trial next year. Live in Punta Gorda, Christy Gross, Wink News Now.
All new on Wink News at 6.
The chief has been doing a PR campaign about, I'm open, I'm honest, anything you want to talk about. Well, he doesn't want to talk about these other incidents. He didn't release these other incidents until you had to go digging through like a madman to find them.
Wink News pushes to get memos from the Punta Gorda Police Department about Lee Cole, the cop who shot 73-year-old Mary Knowlton during a shoot-don't-shoot citizens demonstration back in August. These are memos that have never been made public before.
And tonight we'll tell you about the memo from an officer who trains other cops witnessing Lee Cole making what she basically calls a wrongful arrest. Wink News investigative reporter Dave Colbreth has the exclusive.
This sort of stuff should be unacceptable in any law enforcement agency.
He was a one-man wrecking crew in Punta Gorda, and nobody tried to stop him.
Is he fabricating things? Is he making things up just to make the arrest?
3 longtime Charlotte County attorneys, all who have also been prosecutors in their career, read this memo about an arrest made by Lee Cole, which the Punta Gorda police never released until Wink News spent a great deal of effort and hundreds of dollars.
Just shows that the Punta Gorda Police Department was hiding this stuff. Every news agency in the country was asking for these type of documents.
The memo really hit home for Steve Leskovich because it was about his client, Jacob Hill.
You always hear about corruption, but then to actually read it and know that it happens to someone you know is actually quite disheartening.
On June 23, 2015, Officer Bonnie Buckaloo sent this memo to the Punta Gorda Police administrators.
They knew roughly 8 hours after this arrest.
Buckaloo, along with another officer, came upon Lee Cole, who had pulled Hill over for driving the wrong way on this one-way street. First, Cole had his dog sniff around the vehicle for drugs, but it did not detect any. After that, Cole said that he was changing hats and now going to try for a DUI.
He's fishing for something.
Buckaloo also wrote that Cole did not ask any of the related DUI questions and that she did not observe anything that would indicate an impaired driver.
Falling over, stumbling, no odor of alcohol, no bloodshot, watery eyes. None of that information is written anywhere in any of the reports.
Buckaloo summed it up by writing that Cole performed the requested sobriety exercises without any notable concerns, and that he probably should not have been placed under arrest.
It's shocking to read an officer's report that says another officer was seeking or finding a reason to make an arrest. Why is he even arrested?
Apparently, that's also what people in the state attorney's office wondered, because Wink News obtained these documents from them, where a prosecutor writes, I do not see how there was enough for a DUI arrest, and if that's out, then there's no probable cause to search.
I would bet $1,000 the state attorney had no idea that there was another officer on scene who believes that this was a false arrest.
So, the state attorney's office started playing Let's Make a Deal and said it would drop 5 of the 7 charges, including 2 felonies and the DUI.
DUI getting dropped almost never. I mean, it is a very, very rare circumstance.
I can count on one hand how many times a DUI has been dismissed prior to charges being filed. This is one of them.
When the state attorney's office offered to drop most of the charges, Jacob Hill pled to minor possession of weed and got out of jail immediately.
He pled to those because he was in jail for 35 days and he needed to get out. Who's not going to take that?
Wink News talked to Jacob Hill, who lost his driver's license for a whole year, his apartment, and his job.
And now when he's looking for employment, what shows up on his background? a DUI. Who the heck's going to hire somebody with that kind of record?
So, what did the Punta Gorda police do about this memo? It said it was successfully prosecuted with the means of a plea.
And I have to tell you this, any department that defines this as a successful prosecution, they should all resign.
Without asking, the Punta Gorda police also gave us emails saying things like, Buckaloo seems to have an obvious dislike for Lee Cole, stating to other officers that she refuses to acknowledge him or back him up on traffic stops.
She's one of their current own. She's part of the blue line. You don't cross it. She crossed it.
Would you have taken that plea had you known about this email, this memo?
Absolutely not.
When I talked with Jacob Hill, he said he came down here because he's a roofer and needed to work year-round. Well, after all this, he said no one would hire him, so he had to go back to northern Minnesota, and he said, try making a living there doing roofing in the winter. When we asked the Punta Gorda police for an interview, we were told the chief will not be providing an interview on the memo you referenced, continuing the public discussion of Officer Cole's work product prior to the conclusion of both FDLE's investigation and our own internal investigation is unfair and possibly improper on our end. That memo, as well as last night's story regarding those other memos, are on our website at winknews.com. Dave Culbreth, Wink News Now.
I think that that was a sign of just arrogance. I mean, you don't need to double and triple check yourself. You don't need to have other people double and triple check you. You don't have to have a procedure in place. You don't have to make sure. Like, all of those things just make me sick to my stomach.
On August 9th, 36 people watched as a Punta Gorda police officer shot and killed a woman during a Citizens Academy demonstration. Officer Lee Cole's still on paid administrative leave after the death of 73-year-old Mary Knowlton. But could it have been prevented?
Tonight, only Wink News has memos that were not in Cole's personnel file. After weeks of requests and hundreds of dollars spent, Punta Gorda police finally gave us those memos with allegations of bad arrests, insubordination, and policy violation. Wink News investigative reporter Dave Culbreth has the details.
Nobody should be running around this town with a gun and a badge with these type of allegations against them.
No self-respecting law enforcement agency that I've ever encountered should be tolerating this kind of behavior.
Those are two longtime Charlotte County attorneys. Both of them were shocked when I showed them these memos obtained by Wink News after the Punta Gorda police fought hard to prevent us from getting them.
Just shows that the Punta Gorda Police Department was hiding this stuff. Every news agency in the country was asking for these type of documents.
These new memos show Lee Cole's problems with the Punta Gorda police. But Cole's problems started in his rookie year with the Miramar police, where he was involved in 2 internal affairs investigations. This one, where he yanked a man out of the back of his cruiser. After just 1 year, Cole was forced to resign. He then applied for jobs at over 24 police agencies near Miami. Wink News obtained Cole's application files from most of them, who turned him down. So he then redirected his efforts to Southwest Florida, where the only agency interested in him was Punta Gorda. It was a year after he left Miramar when Cole was hired by Punta Gorda.
Miramar got it right. The other 25 police departments that refused to hire him got it right. Punta Gorda got it wrong.
Cole's personnel file with the Punta Gorda police shows many positive things he's done. But then there's these newly obtained memos that were not in his personnel file.
When you hire somebody that was asked to resign from a different police force, they should be on thin ice.
The first incident Wink News discovered is depicted in this memo. It was February 4th, 2015, when Cole accidentally discharged his taser at home. He was never disciplined.
To have an officer not check his taser before he does a spark test, that is Barney Fife stuff.
On October 23, 2015, a supervisor, Thomas Keegan, wrote this memo saying Cole was insubordinate to him and questioned his authority.
I think that him being insubordinate to his lieutenant seems to kind of go along with all of the other misconduct that he's alleged to have engaged in, because, you know, each one of those is kind of him being arrogant.
Then exactly 1 week later, Cole saw a man riding his bicycle at night without a light. The man wouldn't stop, so Cole sicked his dog on him. But Wink News has now learned from this email that there was what was called a community initiative in place, where officers were supposed to give warnings and free bicycle lights to people instead of arresting them. The Punta Gorda police ultimately settled with the man for $60,000, and over $120,000 worth of medical bills were written off by a hospital. The Punta Gorda police also hired an expert who determined that Cole did not do anything wrong.
I don't care what they say, you know, him allowing that dog to rip the chest wall out of a man who was driving without lights on a bicycle, that's insanity.
The dog bite issue got attention around the world, and Cole said he was receiving death threats. So he improperly accessed the state computer system to remove his name from public records. He got a slap on the wrist from Chief Tom Lewis, who, ironically, illegally accessed the same system himself 5 years earlier and got suspended.
As an attorney, I mean, the Florida bar would be smacking me around something fierce, because you can't just engage in constant misconduct. He's got 5 or 6 incidents of serious misconduct. He's still a cop.
We asked Punta Gorda police officials for an interview about this story, and we were told, quote, "The chief will not be providing an interview on the memos you referenced. Continuing the public discussion of Officer Cole's work product prior to the conclusion of both FDLE's investigation and our own internal investigation is unfair and possibly improper on our end." Now, after all of that, that's not the most egregious things these attorneys say Lee Cole has done. That involved a wrongful arrest. We'll have that tomorrow night in part 2 of this story. Dave Culbreth, Wink News Now.
Drugs and stuff like the German jails, they would have, we got 7, I'm a Canadian originally, we got 7 times more.
Will you do me a favor?
What's that?
If you want to record me, I have no problem with that.
Right.
But this is not a public building.
Last time we were here, we already discussed it. They said we could.
But there are other people here that may not know that you're recording them.
Okay, last time I was here, I asked if I could record, they said yes.
I have no problem with it.
Right.
I believe the facility is probably in the same mindset as they were last time. But just out of common courtesy, let people know they're being recorded, please.
You're being recorded.
Well, wait, everybody's here.
You have to let them know too. Are you running? He doesn't answer questions, I'm sorry.
Answer questions?
No.
You just did.
You did.
If you have any questions for me, you can talk to my attorney, Kevin Shirley.
I gotta meet Kevin,
I know
man.
Kevin, too. He sold
He's
me my
popular,
house.
man. He is popular.
No, but he was the lawyer for the guy that sold when I bought my house 18 years ago.
Mom, stay here next to you, buddy?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyhow, should be interesting. Good. You're from Punta Gorda?
Oh, did you meet him yet?
So am I.
Now, tell me you were Canadian.
This is John Sertan. This is Ian. This is the guy that's doing all the filming, going for public records requests and stuff.
Oh.
They like him. They like him so much they trespassed him.
They do. I'm very popular.
What was the latest video on looking for a trespasser? Jim Mello.
Oh, Jim Mello was trespassing from a real estate office for causing a disturbance in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And
But the only record you got was 2015. That was the one?
yeah.
Oh.
But they were giving the other guy like a hard time about getting the record, so I had to go down there and straighten those things out with him.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom. And by the way, we tried to get L.A. Daniels and the black people to come today. I'm totally serious. Totally serious. I said let's meet here and have a conversation.
It's a shame.
It is. So.
The meeting's canceled. Maybe next month. It's gonna be same time, same place.
The meeting's canceled?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Well, we're the community.
Feedback from the Trabia Woods community.
We can't be part of it.
You're not members of the Trabia Woods community, no.
Oh my God, that's a good point.
You got your number,
You
man.
just told me man.
It's a meeting to discuss in the community, and now it's canceled.
Yeah. Wow. But seriously, I really appreciate you gentlemen.
No, but you told me a few minutes ago it's here to discuss a community discussion meeting, and now it's canceled.
Meeting's canceled, yes, sir.
Because I thought it was a community discussion meeting. That's what you told me a few minutes ago.
Yeah, we're members of the community. We like to be heard. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming. When will Cole face justice? Will Officer Cole ever face justice, Mr. Lewis?
That's a great point. Ask again.
Will Officer Cole ever face justice, Chief Lewis?
What about Officer? What about Tom Lewis? What do you want to do? Go for coffee? Let's not waste the time. I can't. I'm shocked too, man.
He just told me
that you're going to have a meeting, right?
And I says, what is it about? And he says, it's just a community to discuss things in the community.
Right, he wasn't specific on which community, though.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
no,
crazy.
But he just said community.
Exactly.
I says, what is it, about? And I says, well, that's great. That's what we should have.
It ain't worth it.
Okay.
Once they've got their mind made up.
All right, so what do you want to do? Let's not waste this. You want to do coffee somewhere or what?
Sure.
Harry, where's the closest place for coffee?
We could have just used this community center. We don't have to have anybody here.
I can't.
That's what I can't figure out. This is a public place.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you don't even need any kind of permission to
Right.
film? I don't understand that.
He's supposedly saying I do have the right to film, but I'm supposed to let everybody know.
I don't believe that's true in Florida. God we trust part. Like to find out what God they're talking about.
That is true.
What kind of trust is that?
So Ian, let's not waste it. Let's do coffee somewhere. Wait. All right, so John, you want to do coffee somewhere then? Where's the closest? Hey, I'm shocked too. Totally shocked. I'm totally shocked, man. So what do you want to follow us or?
Yeah, I'll follow you.
All right, we're down here. I'm in the white convertible.
Okay, I'll follow you.
So where do you want to go for coffee? Let's not waste it.
Whatever you decide to serve coffee. Man, I'm just too easy to get out with, man.
He just shut the meeting down. He said we're not from the community, so he canceled it. So let's not waste it. What you want to do? Let's do coffee somewhere.
I'd give it about 2 or 3 minutes. These two just showed up for the meeting.
I know. Well, now 2 black people just showed up from the community, so are they going to have a meeting? I know, that's why he said maybe wait a minute. Oh, have you ever seen anything like this?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, all right.
Oh yeah.
Are you here for the meeting? What? Are you here for the meeting? Hey, I think we got a meeting, man. We got another one. Yep. Your door. Okay, he still canceled it? All right, can I give you my card then? Hey, the reason why I showed up and the reason why he's freaking out, I unfortunately experienced the corruption here myself. So 3 years ago, I started Charlotte County COPWATCH. I was the guy that was in the newspaper and all 3 channels where they illegally looked me up on the David system. Not to bring me flowers, but to do bad things because I'm exposing the corruption here. So that's why I think I'm shocked he shut it down. So we need cops. You know we need cops. I know we need cops. We're trying to show people that we're here. You can hold them accountable. You can do different things. You know what I mean? Is it right if I give you my business card? All right. So in 3 years, by the grace of God, I'm a Christian. The YouTube channel went nuts. 40 million views. 38,000 subscribers. In fact, I'll even give you my regular card. So I'm sorry that he did this. We seriously are here. We need police, but we were just here to let you guys know that we're here. If you ever have, if you ever need any help, investigating anything, or if you need a story put out, because internal investigations won't do anything. We were the ones that helped break the dog mall story. We're also the ones that did in Collier County, 7 sheriffs beat the crap out of a white guy. He was in the hospital for 3 days. We broke that story. So we really are trying. Okay. We're trying to help. And sorry that it shut. We are shocked that he just killed it like this.
Okay.
So what was your name?
Reverend Brown. Reverend Howard.
Please get a hold of me, man. Do you guys got a card? I'm shocked. I really, really am. This guy right here, John Surcan, he helps the homeless over in Charlotte County. So he's going to let you guys know that he's here too. So he helps people there. In fact, you know what's crazy? He's the one the guy that supposedly got away from the sheriff at the water and hung himself. That's his landlord. He knows the guy. This wouldn't have happened. Like the guy said, he knew the guy. He didn't hang himself. You know what I mean? 65. So, anyways, I'm sorry that it bombed out. All right. Oh, are we filming? Yes, he was supposed to be. That's what I told him.
So why don't you want to leave it up? Ellie Daniels.
Do you not value our opinion?
All right.
Is Officer Cole ever going to face justice, Mr. Lewis?
Why, who are you with? Just a regular person? That's fine. I don't answer questions.
I'm a regular person. Hey, Andrew, I wanted you to meet David. This is Dick's friend.
Okay.
Andrew. Who are you, a regular person?
No, I actually am. I'm
not a regular person.
Careful. Careful. Hey, let's not waste this. Let's do coffee. What's the closest thing to here for coffee? Here's my card. Because Sir Can's here and everything. You didn't even get to meet him. He helps the homeless in Fort Charlotte.
Oh, okay. How you doing? Hi. How you doing?
Okay, where's the closest place for coffee?
See you later, man. It was a short meeting. Sorry, I didn't get more time.
I'm not sure. Let's go over here and we'll all talk.
All right, John, we're gonna discuss over here what we're gonna do. But be careful for those bike racks. You almost got it.